thank you everyone for coming for this presentation as well as for our dinner meeting. Before I go any further, I would really like to mention a few people here. Dr. Anjali Prasad sir, I'm his student in Tirupati College of Veterinary Science, Tirupati during 1981 through 1986, and I did my master's under him. And he recommended me highly to Kansas State University to go and pursue further studies. And I did my PhD at Kansas State University. And then everybody told me that feed industry is very, very conservative in USA and very hard to survive. And 99.999% is white, all Caucasians. And they said, all I need is 2 meals a day. I can always come back and my mom will feed me those 2 meals. So I was stubbornly stayed back, and hope, with a little bit of help and God's grace, I'm still in the feed industry and surviving. These NuTech-Biosciences, when Santosh informed me that, he recognized me as a PV, all of you know my name is actually Pratap Reddy, right? So how the PV came, I'm just going to give you a brief story. So I was invited, I was called for an interview, my first interview at Pennsylvania, to work as a nutritionist for a feed mill. So the owner, the manager of the feed mill is Don Lloyd. He called me up and said, let me introduce myself. My name is Pratap Reddy, and he said, first of all, you have 2 strikes against your name. The farmers won't follow your name, and it's very hard to pronounce your name. Number 2, you're a PhD, you're too overqualified to go in front of the farmers. So yeah, I immediately shortened my name and I became PV. So basically, I go by PV in American industry, but here, most of the time they call me Pratap Reddy. Anyway, how we started NuTech-Biosciences after working as a dairy nutrition, I'm a dairy nutritionist actually, as a consultant for 15 years. And started working in Pennsylvania as well as in New York. New York, I started working for a regional feed mill. Basically, they produce a custom feed and supply to the local dairy farms about 100-mile radius. And I go and do the nutrition consulting for those farms. So fortunately, we did very well with that feed mill, and I became a partner. And we started another feed mill. I became another partner there. So by 2010, I have decided it became monotonous. It became like a routine thing for me. I want to do something different. So I always had this chemistry knowledge and an applied knowledge of nutrition. Would like to club it and combine it and come up with some solutions. But I went to my wife and said, we might lose all of our money by going into this business. Are you ready? She said, I'm ready. That's number 1 permission I needed. I got it. And then at the same time, you are fighting with multi-billion-dollar companies. As you know, there are several companies right here too, like Alltech, Canon, Novus. These are the companies I had to compete in that market. So, but at the same time, my principle was, when I was dealing with the farmers, what I learned is one thing. They are looking for a value. They are willing to give you a chance. And with that context in my mind, I took that chance. And after 6-7 years, we're still here and thriving. Our mission statement, like I said, animal agriculture, and then at the same time provide the scientific basis to provide the solutions to the farmer. This is our facility in Oneida, New York, which is about central part of New York State. 4 hours drive to New York City and 3 hours from our place to Niagara Falls. So we're in the central part of the New York State, which is about 150,000 square footage facility. Most of our manufacturing happens there, and a little bit of R&D also happens there. And right now we're in about 11 or 12 countries. This is our main market, United States market. Most of our market is about 70% of our market is United States. Other 30% comes from different countries. such as India, Mexico, Canada, and Egypt, Bangladesh, Dubai, and a little bit, even China we're trying to get in some, but it's very hard market unless you're from China. So we are growing and also providing the values as well as the value for your purchase. What important thing we learned from all these countries is they are looking for a quality product. At the end of the day, you have to perform. So when you do that, you're going to survive in this industry. So the important thing we wanted to do, achieve in our marketplace is we need to get good certifications. In US, basically FDA certification is very, very difficult to get. They do come on a regular basis, make sure that we're following the good manufacturing practices and doing the HACCP programs, as well as tracking mechanism, making sure that we can track all the raw ingredients if there is an issue problem, like a lot problems. So at the same time, we're one of the few companies in US. Not most of our products, quite a few products are certified by OMRI. OMRI is Organic Material Review Institute. So when you submit an application and you have to go the extensive review by that institute, making sure that all our raw ingredients are legitimate, qualified organic sources, as well as the process is organic and the end product is fully organic. Typically, we are pioneering in 3 technologies: mineral chelation, and encapsulation, and liquid nutrient technologies. I'll give you a little briefly. Most of our products are chelation based. Chelation means we take the trace minerals, for example. We take zinc, sulfate, and we break it down and we attach the zinc with an amino acid. Most of the time we are using glycine as an amino acid. So then that molecule is small enough so that the bird or cattle or swine, that molecule gets absorbed much higher rate than the inorganic molecule. So we're not changing the functions of the minerals. All we're doing is delivering mechanism. We're delivering that mineral to the bloodstream so that they get to do what they want to do, as well as some excess goes into the storage. And we're also we're also highly involved in cattle industry. For example, beef, dairy, as well. As you know, those are ruminant animals. Some of the nutrients we need to bypass the rumen fermentation. So we are pioneering in encapsulation technology. This is, for example, this is a protected choline. So we're protecting the choline. Choline is also used in poultry as a straight choline chloride, but as in the cattle, you have to encapsulate it so that it bypasses the rumen fermentation. Because it's a methyl donor, once you encapsulate it, once it goes into the lower gut and gets absorbed into the blood and works as to minimize the fatty liver and ketosis issues in the cattle. And we're also just introduced a slow release urea product. Again, we use the encapsulation technologies. As you know, India also has a great need for that product. Urea is limited use you could do in dairy. We can't go more than 50 to 60 grams per animal per day, but with this, we can double it, the urea usage. That means we can minimize the protein purchase, like such as soybean meal, canola meal, like that. I'm just going to go through a little bit brief view of what we do. We're not just in poultry, we're also into the dairy as well as in aqua businesses. Dairy means dairy and beef and swine, also we're in swine, but just to give you some idea of what we do. For example, in dairy, we also supply Mineralate. Mineralate is our brand, chelated mineral brand. We supply the dairy and beef industry, and we also have a vitamin and trace mineral mix. Maxichlor is a chloride supplement, which is a palatable chloride supplement that is fed before calving, 3 weeks before calving. MaxiPro, which is a slow release urea. Cholinex is an encapsulated choline, and a mycobun product. On the poultry side, this is our main brand here in India, Mineralate Poultry Pack. And then we're also supplying a ZN26, copper 22, Mn22, and Mycobond Plus, and NuBios, which is a probiotic product. NuSol were not here. Just a little bit of story for that. You know, Dr. Ramsapati was telling, acidifying the water, and he didn't believe in providing the nutrients to the water. But what happened was in the United States market, they're all going for antibiotic-free programs. That means they are taking completely antibiotics out of their feeding systems. So Tyson was like 6% mortality, went to 16% mortality by taking the antibiotics out. So they were desperate. Anybody comes in their doorstep, they're trying to try their product. And we also went into their doorstep. They tried our product, which is a NuSol, which is what we used as a copper, zinc, manganese, and some acidifiers built in. So we built in nutrients as well as acidifiers in that liquid formulation system. And we also don't know whether that product works or not, but they're ready to try. But they tried out of 14 houses, which is, you know, Tyson is quite big. They have tried in 5 houses. They were quite pleased, and some of them, they're still using it. And then I thought I could help the Indian market also. I brought a sample and gave it to one big organization, I'm not gonna name it, and they took the product and they tried it, and then we followed it up. They said, it's working. And I was waiting, and my team is waiting, where is the order? We didn't get the order. So I'm assuming that some reverse engineering has happened. So I'm afraid that I don't want to bring it now at this stage, because you're still using antibiotics. When the time comes, when India becomes antibiotic-free market, we will come back with some more information and some more better formulation. Of course, we're into Aquasite, which is all these products we created by going into the field, understanding the pond management, and since I'm from the Nellore area, there's a lot of aqua, so I gained some knowledge from Bhimavaram, Kakinada area, and then we created this product line in the last 2 years. And some of them are big hits. For example, MGK, which is a magnesium and potassium, a chelated mineral. As you know, ponds and coconut trees, the coconut trees takes a lot of potassium. The ponds are very deficient in potassium. They're using potassium chloride. Like he says, you're also bringing potassium as well as chloride, chloride is a negative effect on the pond management. So we are bringing potassium and magnesium in a chelated form at a lower inclusion rate. And the NuBios, which is a probiotic product. Detox 1 is a yucca product, which is ammonia reduction product. Detox 2 is a denitrifying probiotic. And also we have a zeolite is everybody uses it in pond management, but we added some organic acids to make sure that we could be helpful in white gut disease at some extent. All right, these are the product lines. We also have more, but I'm just giving you some idea of what we do. Our main brand here in India is poultry pack. This is a 2nd generation poultry pack formulation. Since I come from India, I also have to be extremely careful how much I reveal in the formulation. There is 70% of the story is revealed, other 30% we don't, just to make sure that we get protected. What we're trying to do is not only providing the organic minerals at good levels, and our job is these minerals has to get into the system. Everybody has an organic mineral pack out there, and some of them are quite good. What our job is, make sure that the gut, like he said, gut microflora as well as gut garbage in there, making sure that these minerals don't get trapped in there and get excreted. We want to make sure that it's like a jungle out there, making sure we clear the bushes in the gut so that these minerals gets absorbed in the gut system, in the intestines, mainly the jejunum area. That's where all these trace minerals and organic trace minerals gets absorbed. Like I said, we recently you can see the date also, very fresh, 23rd August, issue date of 2018. We're the only one in the country in the United States got approved for OMRI certification. Very recent, we're very proud of it. And then another product we just got approved as well as patent on is mineralate chromium propionate. As you know, in the United States, there are two things. You just can't produce any molecule and go to the market. It has to be FDA approved. There's only two molecules got approved in US is chromium picolinate and chromium propionate. Picolinate has a restricted use, whereas chromium propionate you can use in poultry, swine, beef, and all other species. So we went with the propionate, which is a good molecule, as well as only product is FDA is allowed. I can't make a chromium chelate or whatnot. I only have to produce chromium propionate. So this is a little bit of story here. There is one company has a chromium propionate. We're not the first one to come into the market. They said they're the only one can produce the chromium propionate. They had the patent. And then 2 years ago, I submitted this product to the World Dairy Expo. They came in and they want to sue me. All right? They're the 800-pound gorilla. I'm the small guy. All right, I withdrew my product from the market because instead of fighting there's an attorney here, Raj, he's here. You know how much it costs in the United States to fight a legal battle. To start with, you know, it's a $500,000 to $1 million fight. So I retreated and then went back to my drawing board and applied for a patent. And then what happened was last year their patent got expired. January 2017, their patent got expired. In May 2017, my daughter's birthday, I got awarded a patent on chromium. So now we got 20 years to work with. Hopefully, I'll be alive until after 20 years. So this is the battle we're doing. I know we're all Indians here. I'm from India, and this is the battle we have to fight, and we should not give up, and make sure that we give as much as fight to them, as well as the recognition at the farmer level. They're open. They're not biased towards any nationalities or any companies. All they're looking for is a value. If you provide a value, and if you show the results, if you increase their bottom line, that's all it matters to them. So the opportunities are there, out there, but you have to fight it. So for example, I'm just going to give you a brief background on how the chromium works. Basically, chromium is glucose tolerance factor. So when the glucose escape from the system is not there, the insulin production keeps up, and then chromium is the one helps the insulin production, takes the glucose utilization. So that way, there's a better carcass qualities and better glucose, better energy levels in the system. For example, also chromium in the stress conditions, there is a higher production of cortisone levels, and whenever there's a cortisone excessive production, it antagonizes the insulin action, and also prevents the glucose uptake by the insulin receptor. If there's no less insulin means there is less glucose uptake. So, and then immune system goes into stress levels. It's a small molecule, and then it has a role to play. It's not the miracle product, but it has a role to play in poultry as well. That's why we brought in, initially in our poultry pack 1, we had 300 ppm of chromium. Now we have increased it to 600 ppm. Before I go to these trials, since India market is different, Indian conditions are different, I can bring all the American research here, but not necessarily it applies. Like Dr. Ramsabhardi sir said, our temperature, average temperature is 95 degrees, and over there varies between 40 to 60, maybe 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So and also much cleaner and hygienic conditions compared to here. The biosecurity is very strict. Even there they have problems, not that they don't have problems. So our conditions are extreme. And then I thought, our team thought we should continue to do field studies in India. So this is one study we have done in 2016. We have used mineral poultry pack, 1.25 kilo. Our control treatment is inorganic trace that we have used. They have used, we didn't use it, 2.5 kilos. 54 weeks of age, 5,600. and 4,900 is the flock size. The length of the trial is about 6 weeks. This is the data. I'm just going to give you a little background, the summary of it, without taking much time. For example, what we're seeing consistently on this trial is a production improvement about 0.93%, and then they have showed the selection improvement about 0.93%, and then less reduction in the broken eggs and waste eggs. And mortality, we're seeing anywhere between 0.5 to 1.2%. So here we are seeing higher side, and we calculated our product cost somewhere around 1 kilo, about 250 to 270 rupees per kilo. And then we need to show the customer that what is the return. I could buy 80 rupees a kilo of inorganic pack, but you're also looking at feeding 2 to 2.5 kilos. That adds to 170 to 180 rupees. And here we are spending 260, almost 80 to 90 rupees additional per ton. That is significant according to poultry feed value standards. We are seeing 1 to 3 return. And another study we did, COP 400, 1.25 kilos. Again, this is a breeder farms. All of them are breeder farms, and the control is 2.5 kilos at the age of 51 weeks of age. 6-week study, 5,500 birds in flock in one treatment. Other treatment is about 5,300 birds. The summary again, with production improvement is 1.32%. Selection improvement is 1.13%. Again, similar results which followed in the trial 2 as well. Return on the investment is 1 to 3. The trial 3, inorganic trace mineral. This is a little creative study was done in October 2016. The treatment 1 is inorganic trace mineral, 1.2 kilos, and that's a pre-starter. And the starter, 1 kilo, and the finisher, 1 kilo. And treatment 2, we only used mineral organic poultry pack, which is about 500 grams in pre-starter, and 500 grams in starter diet, and 500 grams in finisher diet. And treatment 3, inorganic and organic combination. Inorganic at 500 grams, and the poultry pack we use only 250 grams. We're just pushing it, making sure that what level we could be comfortable in recommending it. Flock size, this is an R&D trial, keep in mind. There is not much, the numbers are only few here, 360 birds for each treatment, but we just want to have a start here. This is the data here. It's pretty crowded. I'm just going to give you the results of it. 2.5, 2.6, and 2.6 is the body weights. There is an improvement in body weight. FCR was 1.61, 1.53, and 1.53. So there is a difference between inorganic and organic, but interestingly, inorganic and 250 grams of organic, our product, also did equally well. And then FCR, 1.46, corrected FCR is the most important thing. As you know, most of the nutritionists look for this. 1.46, 1.37, 1.375. The cost of production per kilo, 54 rupees. This is a broiler study. 53 rupees versus 52 rupees. So again, there is an improvement. Cost of production is less. And mortality, 6.39%, 4.72%, and 4.17%. Again, the bird size is only 360 birds, and we have seen some benefit of using organic and inorganic combination. Trial 4, this is recently last year, this study was done. Bioplex versus us, we went neck to neck. Trial period is at the age of 24, 10 weeks of trial period. Basically, mineral poultry pack production improvement is about 1.6%, and selection improvement here is only 0.42%. In other trials, we have seen 1.1, 1.2. Reduction in broken eggs and waste eggs. General mortality reduced in poultry pack flock is 1.3%. So there is continued to have the same trend of results. And this is the number 5, poultry pack, half a kilo, 500 grams. This is used on top of VHL, the concentrate. They are using the concentrate. Then we went in with the 500 grams in addition to it on top of program, 6 weeks program. And before using and after using, our treatment was already lagging behind before we started using poultry pack. So we gained everything back and plus a little bit more. Basically, production improvement is 1.8, selection is only 0.22, is because that treatment before we use in poultry pack, they were already lagging behind. So we gained all that back plus a little bit more. Hatchability percentage is 1.2, and there is a less rejection also. Here the product cost is 3,000, and we're showing 32,000. It's too good to believe it, but it's about 10 times return. But we haven't seen that 10 times return, but I'm comfortably can say 1 to 3 return is quite possible, and we're consistent with that. And this is the same study results. This is a recent study done in Pune with the help of Santosh, organized this in Pune area. I just got the results here. They have the size of the farm is about 15,000 laying breeders. Number of sheds is 3. Our batch size per shed is 4,500 female, about 500 male. But that is a batch size. This is the pictures of the farm and the eggs they're showing. All right, here the results are, they're looking for mainly 2 things: mortality, hatchability, and then production performance. There is about hatchability, average hatchability is about 3% increase, and mortality reduced only 0.14%. Those are the Indian studies, and we also have done some American studies. I'm just going to show one study in particular. This is done by Joe Moritz, which is a very famous poultry nutritionist. He's a professor at West Virginia University. He has done a study just on zinc alone. What he has done is the 40 ppm of zinc coming from the inorganic, other 40 ppm is coming from our source, and the third treatment is Zintro, which is a leader, and they have the highest sales in the United States market. And he has used 40 ppm from Havela zinc, which is their another product. So these are the findings he has. At the end of the day, he has shown 0.2 pounds heavier. After 42 days, 0.2 pounds means about 100 grams body weight improvement using one versus other. Especially, even we have increased our body weight even with the leader of the industry. So it's a university study, it's an independent study, and we're proud to show that we are, this is a statistically significant at 5% level. We also shown the breast weights. It's not significant, but there is a tendency to get more breast weight using the zinc with our product. There's another study recently done, which is along with the poultry pack, is a NuBios, which is our probiotic product. Same Pune area, same farm. They have allotted another 3 sheds, 4,500 birds, about female and male, about 500 birds. So basically, these are the findings. Reduction in loose droppings in young stock, which led to the flies control and ammonia reduction. So that is their observation. Reduction in mortality by 0.5%. Reduction in shell-less eggs is a new finding in young flock, which is, he thought that is quite an interesting finding. And at start, the difference is more than 50% and against the control, and it continues to do better even after averages. Hatching eggs is slightly higher, even after 2-time egg breakage, labor treatment side. So trial started at a crucial time. There's a monsoon time, the climate mix of hot and humid, and still the product performed what it's supposed to do, it has done. So again, the same results are shown here. With that, I don't want to take too much time because there are other speakers are here. I would like to conclude, and then again, I would like to thank all of you for attending and for your support. Thank you again.
I have a basic question. What is the difference between chelated minerals and organic minerals?
Chelated is organic, basically. Whenever you take an inorganic mineral, such as zinc sulfate is an inorganic molecule, and you break it down to zinc and sulfur, and then you attach an organic molecule, that becomes an organic molecule. Chelation is a term used as a bonding. It's a claw mechanism. There are several types of organic molecules can be produced, such as proteinate. You can use organic minerals are considered like methionine hydroxy analog binding, but it's actually not an amino acid, it's an analog. And then even the kelp is used, polysaccharide is attached to the metal. Whenever you bring an organic molecule attached to the inorganic, it becomes an organic molecule. But the claw mechanism only happens if you use a single amino acid. You need to have a heterocyclic ring. The true heterocyclic ring forms with the 2 moles of glycine and 1 mole of metal. That is the ring formation, gives you the stability in the gut system, and also you're reducing the molecular weight so that it gets absorbed in the blood. Any questions? We can always discuss later.